Hey everybody, it's Thursday. It's Jim, it's Amadeus, and Amadeus, I don't know what it is about the summer, but it brings on some crazy things. You came up with something this morning, which I gotta say, um, kind of gobsmacked me when you first told me about it.
Yeah, it's that's what it is, right? It's the dog days of summer, and so besides the MLB and the MLS, there's not really a whole ton of sports going on. Yeah, the NBA championship and the NHL Stanley Cup, that's good. The NBA starts tonight and NHL on the weekend, but other than that, it seems more so the summer is just filled with drama. We have to I don't know if we're trying to fabricate stories or going out of our way to cause drama, but that seems to be what we have this week, Jim. We have some definitely some drama happening in two different sports too. So an eventful week for sure.
Yeah. So let's lay out, if you would, the latest on the Athletics move to Las Vegas. And as the old saying goes, as we've been there way too many times, um, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but unless of course you're the owner of the Oakland A's, because what happens in Vegas may not stay in Vegas for all 81 home games.
Yeah. So got a situation going on now. Obviously, we've talked about the Oakland Athletics a lot, and we are we are with the A's fans. We are
Yeah.
team fan base on this one. We believe that they should stay in Oakland. The owners dogging the city, dogging the fan base, doing anything he can to possibly dog Oakland. And now here we are. 2 years away from them moving to Vegas, and he's already trying to dog the local people over there too. So obviously they have the deal put forward to build the stadium. They even knocked down half of the Tropicana already. So the building is slowly getting in the works. And now Fisher has decided to drop this bomb on Las Vegas of, oh, by the way, I know, we have it worked out where we're supposed to make this much revenue because we've got to pay off that stadium and we're going to have 81 home games. But by the way, we're going to try and go out of our way every season to make sure we play 8 home games not at home. Actually, not even in the city of Las Vegas.
Um, this is this is crazy. I mean, in my mind, it's Fisher trying to blow up the deal. Because let me take a brief moment or two here to explain how this works. When you build a stadium, okay, and it's public money and private money, the city, in the case of Las Vegas, has to put up a bond. Now, in the case of Las Vegas, the bond is $700 million. So, if you're Las Vegas, how do you get that money back, right? You get that money back based on attendance as well as the, for lack of a better term of putting it, a percentage of rent that is paid back by the ball club. All right. So if you take away part of a revenue stream, which would be taking away 8 baseball games out of 81 every year, and you're basing your bond payment on 81 home games, but you're not getting 81 home games, then you're not getting the type of revenue that you initially put into this. Everything is a mathematical equation, right? So the money that you would be getting or counting on, I guess would be a better way of putting it, um, is 8 games less. So that means you've got 8 dates less, which means you got 8 paydays less, and that throws off the time that it's going to take to pay off a bond, which is traditionally 30 years.
Yeah, definitely, a lot of years there, and it's not going to help when you take away those 8 games. And understandably,
No,
the locals seem to be pissed off about it, and I would be too if I were them, because you got this guy who has a history of dogging the fan base and the city over in Oakland, and now he wants to bring the team to your city and hasn't even gotten there yet and is already trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So I don't know. I don't understand what this guy's deal is. I've been scratching my head. I've been calling for him to sell the team for like 1 or 2 years now. So this is definitely, I like what your thoughts were on his decision making, though. I think you're on to something for sure there.
well, again, it really it's the only thing that makes sense, right? Is why would you want to do this? And the only reason you want to do this is you might have looked over and saw what Salt Lake did in getting the hockey team, right? It took about 5 minutes for Salt Lake to come up with the money and the funding and the whole deal for the guy who owns um, you know, the Utah Jazz to buy the hockey team, move them to, next year they'll be playing in Salt Lake. And the community is just jacked up about it. Now, we have said, and you've reported personally, as have I, that the city of, not the city, the residents of the city, I guess would be a better way of putting it, of Las Vegas are not necessarily too keen on even getting the A's.
Yeah, a lot of
So,
what I've read over the last year, like Las Vegas locals seem to want an MLB team, but they're very keen on it being an expansion team. And at this point, look at who you're getting into bed with. I don't blame the Las Vegas locals for wanting an expansion team and starting fresh. Because do you really want to bring this guy in with all the baggage he has? And hell, he's not supposed to come for 2 more years, and he's already trying to screw you over.
well, I mean, let's look for a second at the most successful franchises in sports, right? 9 times out of 10, it's local ownership, right? You want someone who has skin in the game. You don't want someone who lives outside the area but owns the team because they're not going to have the passion for the city as much as someone who lives there and has, on good days and bad days, has to see the customers that that they're trying to work with, right? So, and even if you're not amongst the locals from a standpoint, meaning of you know, you're not going to see anybody in the parking lot of the local food store. You still have to deal with the business community because the business community is where you get your major sales on group tickets and skyboxes and all that other stuff. So the fact that Fisher's not local, the fact that this whole thing was kind of like a shotgun marriage in the first place, because if you remember, they didn't want it, and we're talking about the mayor even saying so. And then they turned around at the last second and extended the legislative session to get it passed. So, I mean, this has been to use a term that Sean likes to use, dodgy. This has been dodgy since day one, and now it looks like you know the ultimate fu is Fisher, basically saying I want these dates because he knows that if there's a possibility of tanking the deal, that's going to do it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. This is the only explanation for what he's doing. He has to be trying to sabotage the deal in some way. And it lines up with what we just saw, as you pointed out, in Utah with the hockey team. Obviously there's been such excitement there, and they raised the money so quick for that. So yeah, this is something where maybe he looks at that and Salt Lake is on the list for an expansion MLB team. So maybe he's
Right.
thinking, we just relocate there instead. Vegas doesn't really want us. This is kind of, dragged on legally anyway. Like, obviously something's not meshing here. But at the same time, let's say he's successful of getting the deal to fall through. If you're Salt Lake City, do you even want the Athletics, knowing you're at the top of the list for an MLB expansion team? You've seen what this guy has done in Oakland the last few years. He hasn't even gotten to Vegas, and he's already doing that. Is this a guy you want to get into bed with if you're Salt Lake City?
No, but here's where I think there might be something going on. Okay, and that's in this regard. What we're looking at might very well be him meaning Fisher, looking at Salt Lake and saying, you know what? If you recall, um, there wasn't really an ownership group interested, in doing anything. Um, an ownership group interested in doing anything with regard to Vegas, right? They're not there yet, um, but there was and is a group of people who are involved in Salt Lake who could put together the money that Fisher may want to sell it. So I guess my point is this: if he's got the opportunity to sell it to either local interest in Oakland who may want to keep it in Oakland, and because there's been people in Oakland who said they want to buy it, if he can leverage that against somebody from, say, a Salt Lake, then he's going to end up getting more money out of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of convoluted ways that this could be done. But no, I don't think. I think if Vegas goes, thanks but no thanks, I think Fisher has nowhere to go but sell it because he will have played himself off the board because then no one would trust him. Not that many people trust him now, but that the three people who do might be down to one by the time, and it might be his dog. That's about the only thing left. So no, Fisher has. I mean, we've seen some gumming things up from owners, but this one might be the ballsiest of the bunch because you're basically telling a group of people who genuflected their way into $700 million by doing everything humanly possible to placate this guy, and now he's got the balls to stand there and say, it's not enough.
Yeah, and they even knocked the building down. Like, I understand they're rebuilding the Tropicana as well on half that lot, but
No, the hotel.
or yeah, sorry, the hotel there, but
I
still,
only I only I only do that because the Tampa Bay Rays play in the Trop, which is Tropicana Field. So I'm just making sure that people aren't confused that we're saying one's getting knocked down, the other one's not. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the Tropicana Hotel.
Yeah, they knocked down the hotel, and I understand, they're going to rebuild it still, on half the lot there. But if again the deal falls through, now you just like, okay, I guess what do they just take up the whole lot then for the hotel? That's ridiculous though. So you've
Well,
totally
yeah.
it's just totally screwed some stuff up here for Vegas.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, Lord knows I've been to Vegas way too many times, and you've been there as well. The Tropicana, right, is not on a piece of land that's really all that big when we're talking about putting a stadium, right? We're not talking about a hotel, we're putting a stadium on. It's 9 acres, okay? 9 acres wouldn't, to give you an example, 9 acres wouldn't be, 9 acres would not, you couldn't put Dodger Stadium's parking lot in 9 acres. So that gives you an idea of the footprint, right?
Yeah.
Basically, what they would do is build a stadium. You can build a stadium on 9 acres. You can do that. But there would be no parking, and it would require a great deal of mass transit to get people in there. And you and I know you can walk Vegas, right? You can. But mass transit is not in Vegas. And if you're going to get people to walk to the building in 109-degree heat, you're insane.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, maybe transit can take you into Vegas, but once you're on the strip, you're either walking or you're taking a cab or something. There's really,
Right. You got your Uber account out.
yeah. It's really the city runs on taxi and Uber. So
No.
yeah, they're definitely they're messing something up there in Vegas. But I expect nothing less from Fisher.
Well, he at least he's been consistent.
Yeah, consistently bad, but it's there. And it kills me just because we even talked about there was that deal maybe set up where there was a guy in Sacramento who wants to buy the team, and so what? Now
Hmm.
Fisher's going to use that guy to drive up the price if he actually does sell, and
Hmm.
it's still a giant fu because he's going to sell it out of the city to an ownership group that's going to put it in another city. So you're still screwing the fan base over, even though you're selling the team. When because as you said, there's multiple buyers in Oakland for the team, but at this point, he's just using them to drive the price of the team up if he actually does want to sell, and then he's still gonna stick the finger at them and sell it to a group outside of the city.
Yeah. It The old saying goes, it don't make much sense. And if you are sucker enough to pull it, I mean, it doesn't even make. I don't understand how um, you know it makes any sense with regard to the future of the stadium and in Vegas alone. I mean, it makes just no sense. It's I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm literally without the opportunity to say anything because I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, it's definitely ridiculous.
It's and as I said, there's really no way of explaining away that. How do you say? I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, we're trying to. Are you saving the taxpayers' money? No,
Yeah, no, there's only two things. As you said, he's either trying to sabotage the deal or he's straight up crazy.
or both. Yes.
Or both.
Um,
Probably both.
yeah, yeah, probably. It's I don't know. I'm totally lost as to what exactly he wants out of that. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever why you would do that.
Yeah.
And other than getting out of the deal, that would be the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you
And
hit it right on
if
the head.
that's the case, if that's the case, he'll be persona non grata around Major League Baseball and pretty much any other sport. Um, just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And the
And,
other thing that backs up your point is the
what
fact
happens to?
that it lines up with the Utah hockey situation there. A lot of stuff lining up.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, Salt Lake City has been Utah in general is a state that people kind of like don't even think about, right? Yet there's a lot of money in Utah, and it's actually a very big playground for people with money because Park City's there. I mean, some of the top ski areas in the country are in Utah. There's a really amazing, collegiate air there. There's a lot of really good schools out there. Um, if you've ever been there, it's really a nice place to go. I mean, it's very clean and very people are very friendly. They truly support their sports franchises, both collegiately and professionally. So it's not a bad place to have a professional sports team. But that's something you should have thought of. I'm talking now about Fisher. That's something he should have thought about before he got in bed with Vegas. And I think the only reason he went to Vegas is because he thought, well, the Raiders went there and things went well.
Yeah, 100%.
But That's only 8 games in a season.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's that's what he's doing. It's very easy to tell. He sees what the Raiders did. Oh, I can do that. And now he's seeing what Utah's doing with the hockey. Go, oh, you know what? Maybe I can do that instead. Let me get myself out of this deal.
Right. Let me kill this one and then move on to the next sucker.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like negligence or like I said, he clearly he's got to know what he's doing, and he just doesn't care. But
well, it's pretty Machiavellian if he is. I mean, that's you are absolutely crushing your fan base.
yeah, either that or he's just straight up oblivious to what's going on, which is I find very hard to believe to be the case.
I would hope. Yeah, I would hope not. But stranger things have happened. That's for sure. But that's not even the craziest story of the day. Let's move on to to our favorite story, which is as the Lakers turn.
Yeah, and this one's wild to me just because 2 days ago I probably could have told you who the next head coach was going to be for the Lakers, and the last 2 days I've heard absolutely nothing. You kind of just assumed that the deals was getting done behind the scenes. There was talks being done, and then we get just thrown a complete curveball this morning. I don't know where this came from, but it is quite ridiculous. Now they would like to go after the two-time national champion head coach Dan Hurley, and it's going to be hard to pry him away, but we're going to have to see what happens, obviously.
Well, in the pre-show, we kind of had some fun with the Connecticut Mafia, because many people will remember back in the day when Jack and Cook had just sold the team to Jerry Buss, and Dr. Buss was figuring out what he wanted to do coaching wise, and Jerry West told him he didn't want the job. It was thought, well, wait a minute, over in Vegas, Jerry Tarkanian had built, a fantastic program over there. So, they thought, well, Tark would be a good guy. I mean, he's a good basketball coach, blah, blah, blah. So basically, they forgot there wasn't a professional team in Vegas, and Vegas's team was, University of Las Vegas, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. So long story short, and you can see this in a couple of HBO shows about Showtime. Jerry's agent negotiated a deal for Jerry to become the next coach of the Lakers. And before they could announce it, one of the deals, by the way, was that both Jerry and his agent received as a bonus from the Lakers, and this was kind of like the hook that Jerry Buss put in. They each received a Rolls Royce. And so, supposedly, Jerry's agent was going to drive his Rolls back to Vegas to explain, the deal to Jerry. And the morning after the deal was put together at night at Jerry Buss's house, they went and they couldn't find the agent. So they checked his car. They opened the trunk of the car, and he's dead in the trunk of the car. Tark at that point decided this may not be a wise choice to go to LA, and so he refused the deal. Eventually, first they put Paul Westhead in there, and then Paul Westhead's assistant was, of course, Pat Riley, and Pat Riley got the job eventually. But I don't know. This is more. I think you were right on the money with the fact that this is a LeBron thing and not and not necessarily a JJ Redick.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened because they were so keen on JJ Redick, and 2 days ago it sounded like it was done deal pretty much. And like I
Yeah,
said, you didn't really hear anything the last 2 days, so you kind of just assume they're ironing things out behind the scenes type thing.
yeah,
And then this, yeah, and then this
get the
morning just
contract done.
no, we're going to go after Dan Hurley now. He's, the shiny piece. This is who we need. And it makes me think it was a LeBron decision because, I don't know what else could have stopped it. Obviously, the front office felt that he was the right guy and he passed all those, checked all those boxes. And the only final hurdle I can think of is LeBron put the veto in. And I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is maybe because JJ Redick's a young guy. He's the same age as LeBron. He's 39, and they were born in the same year. LeBron was born in December. He was born in June. JJ Redick, so he's literally only like 6 months older than LeBron. And I think it just might be one of those that mindset of LeBron is in the conversation for the GOAT, and he probably looks at it like, this guy's 6 months older than me. What does he know? Okay, I beat his ass all the time on the court. Like, what is he going to tell me that I don't already know? Find a better guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd have to probably come from Rock Nation, which is the agents and LeBron. That's those are his guys. I don't know. I mean, it's really. If I'm if I'm Dan Hurley, I don't know. I mean, Dan comes from a basketball family. Okay, we all know that, right? But does Dan take a chance, and not a little chance, um, on failure in the NBA, or does he take on this challenge? Now, let me just preface what I just said, or the old saying, I said that to say this, and that is that I believe Dan Hurley could coach in the NBA. Okay, Billy Donovan did a really good job in the NBA. We've had why am I blanking? Who's Brad? It oh shoot, the guy who coached um, Butler and then went to the Celtics. Um,
Oh,
um, Brad, I can't. I'm blanking on Brad's last name.
yeah, I forget
Um,
his name too.
yeah. Anyway, point being that there are coaches who have left college in basketball and become successful professional coaches. And I think that Hurley could. I mean, Hurley could coach anything basketball wise. It's just that I don't. I mean, this is not a good basketball team, and they're not going to want to. They're not going to want Dan Hurley to come there, so they can win 40 games. And so I don't. If I'm Dan Hurley, I'm going to get hit with a number that is going to be really hard for me not to take. But if I'm Dan Hurley, I'm going to want to meet with the team first, or meet with LeBron. Let's be honest, forget the team. I'm going to fly out and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have dinner with LeBron, and I'm going to say, cool, if you're cool with this, if you want to buy into it, because let me just put it this way: Dan Hurley is not going to take any crap from LeBron James.
Absolutely.
Dan Hurley will shut. I will guarantee you this: Dan Hurley would have zero, fear of sitting him on the bench if you got mad at him.
Yeah,
I mean, Dan's a
agree.
Jersey guy. He's not, he's a soprano. You don't screw with him. All right, he is not going to be intimidated by LeBron. That
And the other
might
thing is,
that
right,
might be
he's got nothing to prove.
no, and I mean that might be the reason that they went after him, is they figure, okay, he's not going to take any crap from him,
Yeah,
so maybe
something's
we
got to
go that way.
change, right? And maybe
Yeah,
that's the thing, right? And like I said, he doesn't need to prove himself as a coach. If anything, if he goes to the Lakers, he's looking at it like, I'm doing you a favor. I'm the two-time national
right.
championship,
Yeah,
and I'm coming here because you guys need to get your crap together.
I'm putting my reputation on the line for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the thing, right? I think there's two ways for Hurley to look at it. He could look at it like, I'm two-time defending champion. What more can I do at UConn? So that would be a
Mm-hmm.
reason to go. But I think there's also a reason to stay because, even though, yeah, it's going to be hard to top the season you just had when you topped the season before, which was very hard to top. But
Mm-hmm.
look, maybe you're not as good this year, but you still have a chance to, and especially with Coach K gone now, there's not really a college basketball coach out there who's dominating the game, especially in the new portal era that we're seeing. Dan Hurley has a
Right.
chance to be that guy.
Yeah. And look at what happened with um look what happened with oh man, I'm just trying to do John Calipari. John went to New Jersey and turned around and went back to college. Rick Pitino went to the Knicks, turned around, went back to college. So
Billy
Dan, I mean,
Donovan is going back to college this
that's
year.
a good point. Yeah, yeah, right. So I mean, it's not like guys, having said, okay, fine, they take the payday, and okay, you want to get rid of me, fine, pay me up, pay me, what you owe me, and bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
So I don't know, from Hurley's standpoint, he's got, I don't know that he's got anything to lose, but he definitely, I think, would be, the more I think about it, might be a good hire, but he also um, doesn't really have a lot of players on that team that's going to make it. I mean, will they make the playoffs? Well, hell, everybody makes the playoffs. But can they go deep into the playoffs? I don't know that with the roster that the Lakers have right now, they could do that,
Yeah.
regardless of what LeBron is doing. LeBron can, score 39 points a game, whatever. It's
Well,
the
we saw it
supporting
against
cast.
Denver, right? Him
Yeah,
and Davis. Davis was playing like literally like you're not blaming me when we get swept again. I'm gonna put up 40
right,
points every night. You're not
right.
blaming me when it happens again.
You're
I
not kind
did
of
my
hanging on
best.
me, right? Don't even think about it.
Yeah,
I'm not playing you, but
yeah,
you know, um, it's going to be fascinating. That's for sure. Um, but you said that. I mean, look, Reddick ticked all the boxes at least to the front office. So somewhere in that clubhouse, you know, uh, it was decided that that wasn't going to work.
and you'd think he would be like the first hurdle, right? Like you should
Yeah,
have a short list and just hand it to him at this point and be like, are any of these guys okay before we waste our time?
right. Yeah, we before we go and make embarrass ourselves in front of the basketball world, we kind of like to get it okay. I mean, if you look at what Robert Kraft did with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, if you look at what Mickey Arnson did with Pat Riley and Spolstra and Dwayne Wade, right? You got your superstar, on the team. You include them in any major decision, and that's what those owners did, and it's why those owners, were successful. Is because even if the guy said, "I don't care," right? At least you brought you shared the insight with them, or the thought process, or whatever it is that you use as the metric to decide whether or not this guy's going to be a good ad for you or not. And so I think that is something that the Lakers kind of did it backwards with Reddick. They didn't get the pulse of the team. And frankly, to be honest, normally I would say I really don't care what the team thinks. you know. But in this case, you have so many divas in the NBA. It's important to check with them first because there's only five guys on the court at the same time, and if they're not into making it work for each other, then it's going to be a very long season. So I don't know. I guess the Reddick thing kind of died out, which um, if Hurley turns the job down, maybe they go back to Reddick. I don't know.
Maybe. I know
But
there
right
was
now,
interest in Reddick at other teams too. So
yeah. Well, we're now in the Fisher zone again, right?
yeah.
So we're like okay, you don't want to play, you don't want to coach me, you don't want me to coach you, fine. I'll go somewhere to beat you.
You know what? Maybe we're looking at this wrong. Maybe it was Reddick who did
It's
some
possible.
sabotaging because maybe he took it just for the optics, right? Did the interview and didn't
Oh,
realize
I
they were
see,
going to
yeah.
want him so bad that now he was like, oh, I need to. I don't want to coach LeBron. I need to stop this now before it's too
Well,
late.
yeah,
So
okay. I like this. I like this. Let's play this through. All right, so you're Reddick's agent, right? You
okay,
leaked that the Lakers it's imminent that they're going to sign you. You knew he had two or three other offers. Those people make a final bid and say, look, I know that the Lakers are going to pay him X. We will pay him Y if you can break that deal. And then the guy says, he does the Jerry Maguire thing. Let me put you on hold and let me get back to you. And he gets back to them and says, okay, tell you what, we can walk away from this, but this is the number you got to give me to walk away. Maybe what happens when the dust settles is JJ gets a deal where he gets more money than what the Lakers are going to give him, and he doesn't have to coach the Lakers.
I was say less of a headache too.
Yeah. So maybe the agent played it.
We're gonna have to monitor because if JJ Redick gets a head coaching job very quickly, like let's say
Mm-hmm.
the Lakers saga, because obviously he's not going to take anything till the Lakers saga is done. Let's say they do get Hurley,
Right.
they get their guy right, they're all happy, everything's signed, and then like 3 days later, another team in the NBA signs JJ Redick. Then I think this theory is going to have a little something to it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised it happened. By the way, Adam Silver can't be happy because the cardinal sin of the NBA of any and it's not just Adam. Okay, it would be the NFL, it would be Major League Baseball, it would be the NHL. When you get to the finals, you don't want to overshadow the finals, and I can't imagine that anybody cares about the finals of the NBA more than what they care about in the soap opera that's playing out in front of them because it's the Lakers. Okay, if it was the Bulls, if it was the Celtics, maybe only the Celtics. I don't think it would even be the Bulls anymore. But
Or maybe
those are the two. Yeah, go ahead.
maybe it's the Lakers trying to steal the spotlight from the Celtics. Maybe it's all
Could
just a
be.
PR scandal.
Maybe they're using J Day to just keep in the press. I don't know. That's a Steinbrenner move though.
We're
That's
not in the
not.
finals, but we're going to make sure people are talking about us anyway.
Yeah, but it's Jeannie Buss is not is not usually that kind of person. But who knows? People change. And there was the concept of, well, what if LeBron wants to go play somewhere else, right? And you're like, well, okay, he can go play somewhere else, but who's going to want him to play there?
And you have to take
He's
his son.
39 years old.
It's like a package deal, right? It's like when you're when you're back on the schoolyard in elementary school, and then picking teams. It's like, no, if you pick me, you have to take him too.
Yeah, your buddy. Yeah,
we're a package deal.
All right, so let's take one more pull at the string on this one. What if Reddick meets with the the higher ups, meets with LeBron. Everything's cool, and LeBron says, "Hey, look, JJ, let's make our first pick, you know, Bronny." And he goes, "LeBron, you gotta be nuts. We're not doing that. It's you want to win. I mean, you want to have a nice day with your kid and go to Disney World. No, we're not picking it. Maybe something like that got into the mix."
That could have been what happened too, right? You know what? There's too many things I think now that it maybe went on here. We'll just have to monitor it, see what happens.
There was there was a funny movie, and I forget the title of it, but about these two guys who passed themselves off as cleaners. They want to clean LeBron James's home, and really what they wanted to do was use it for a party that they wanted to have. Long story short, somebody breaks in and steals LeBron's, um, you know, world championship rings, and one of them was one of the Miami rings, and I think the actor who was, they're sitting there freaking out that the rings are gone. He goes, "Well, which ring is gone?" And this was a ring from Miami. He goes, "Well, he didn't earn that one." And that was Dwayne's. That was Dwayne's. Yes, he can miss that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, the funny part of the Lakers, and it's the funny part and the sad part if you're a longtime Laker fan. I do know many longtime Laker fans. And that is that you really don't want this kind of press. I mean, this is not the press you want. You want, some good vibes going into the season. This is crazy talk. This is when you got coaches, coming in and out of the building, and it's clear that the front office liked one, but then something happened there, and now they're gonna have, you know, they feel that they have to throw money at, to get, to get our Connecticut buddy, Mr. Hurley, in there. It's an odd thing. You're basically saying, look, I gotta pay more than anybody else to get a guy to coach the team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Lakers fan and say, you would think that people would be tripping all over themselves wanting to coach.
Yeah. No. Not knowing the coach killer is in the building.
Oh, and he is. He's down the hall and to the left. He might as well have an office in the building. That wouldn't hurt.
Surprised he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, what we see right here is his opportunity to maybe to get involved in the ownership of the Lakers. I know he wants a team in Vegas, but maybe this is the one that he ends up with. Who knows? He gets involved with it. One last thing before we go, and that is the Chicago Bears are going to be the Hard Knocks team this year, and I think that might be worth watching. Hard Knocks. I haven't watched Hard Knocks for about 4 years, but this whole thing with the Bears, Caleb Williams, that might be it. That might be some entertainment.
Yeah, all I'm going to say about that is just, rookie quarterback, London game, and now Hard Knocks, another distraction. But this team's winning 9 games.
Okay. We've been through that one before. I don't think either one of us thinks that that's going to be something that happens. But I'll tell you what. I'll be the first to say I was wrong on Caleb Williams if Caleb Williams comes out there and blows up big time.
You know what? If they win 9 games, I'll say it too. But I still don't see it happening.
I think we're safe, by the way.
We'll see. If he proves me wrong, it's up to him.
Yeah, that's I don't think we're gonna have to do it, but anyway, we'll see. But more importantly than any of the things that we've spoken of this afternoon is what's going to happen with you, my friend. So let's talk about that for tonight.
Yes, make sure you check out my premium picks at bigal.com, pickadvisor.com, theinsidersroom.com. The links are in the description below. You can get my play in the Copa Argentina tonight, as well as 2 MLB plays. I'm on a 3-0 MLB run the last 2 days, so go check that out.
All right, there you go. Tomorrow we'll come back here and we will have some fun stuff to talk about over the weekend, which will include the French Open finals on both the men's and the women's side, as well as hockey, basketball, and of course the never-ending baseball situation. So there you go, boys and girls. We have plenty to talk about tomorrow. We have a full slate of MLS games on Saturday, so plenty to sink our teeth into. But for Amadeus, I'm Jim. You guys have a wonderful Thursday. We'll see you Friday around sometime between 2 and 3:30. They'll be there. All right, until then, guys, take care.